Hello and welcome to the free crash course in motivation and mindset for mothers-to-be who refuse to believe that life after baby means losing yourself. Welcome, a huge welcome. This is being brought to you by me, Catherine, on behalf of the New Mama Welcome Pack. I'm going to introduce myself now. I'm really pleased to meet you and I'm so glad that you are here. This is me, I'm Catherine. I am a mother of one. He is called Sam and this is us when we're on holiday. We live in London in England and yeah, I'm in my, I guess, late 30s. And I am the curator and the publisher of the New Mama Welcome Pack, and I really wanted to create this free course for you. Well, I will explain why in just a moment, but I wanted to introduce myself first. This is what I look like nowadays. My toddler is now 2.5, and that is us on a recent holiday when we just climbed up a local little hill and we were having a lot of fun. So this is what we look like at the moment. So why did I create this course? Well, it's a topic that is really close to my heart, and it's one that I really struggled with when I was pregnant, and even before I even got pregnant, when I was considering becoming a mother. And I know it's an issue that a lot of people do struggle with. I recently asked a lot of women this question: when you were pregnant, what did you hate to hear people say about being a mother? And this is some of the things that they said. You will lose yourself. All your dreams will be on hold for the next 5 to 10 years. It'll change your life, with a negative connotation. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard this kind of thing, and it's so depressing. It's like a massive doom and gloom sort of trip about being a mother and what it might be like. This woman said they hated to hear about how hard it was, how things would never be the same again. And another one said, people telling you that your life will be over. Really, I mean, don't we all hate to hear that? I'm guessing if you're watching this, you are someone who is really driven, you're quite ambitious, you are passionate, you've got a lot of interests, you might be creative, you might be entrepreneurial. You're just someone who has things that you love to do in your life and it's part of your identity, and you definitely don't want to give that up just because you're being a mum. And that is what I'm going to be talking about. And as I said, I can definitely relate to that. That's me when I was heavily pregnant. And this got me really angry, this whole idea that you had to lose yourself and just give up everything. You'll never be able to do anything ever again. It actually got me really enraged. And this is a picture of my journal, I guess, that I was just doodling in and writing in, and I wrote this massive rant which I can't even read out to you because it's just expletive filled, and because I was so angry. I was saying things like, I was reading yet another blog by a mother saying how you will have no life and can't do anything with a newborn and your life is over. Well, I was not very happy about that concept. I didn't want to hear it. I did not want to hear when I was pregnant about all the stuff that I couldn't do. I wanted to hear positive things about what I could do. You know, not being unrealistic, but being realistic, but, you know, just not being so doom and gloom. I wanted to look forward to motherhood. I wanted to enjoy it and also not to lose myself in it. I wanted motherhood to be a positive experience, not to feel like I was giving up my life. I wanted to have fun, I wanted to have joy, I wanted to grow, I wanted to have positive change and freedom. Yeah. And this is me again, and I don't know if you're familiar with this woman called Leonie Dawson who creates these goal setting planners. So that is what I am holding there. And I was so kind of concerned and passionate about this idea that I wouldn't lose myself that I took this goal setting planner that this woman Leonie creates, which you may be familiar with. I took it to my birth. I had a scheduled induction and I packed it, and I thought, well, while I'm waiting around for the induction to happen, because it can take a long time, then I'll do some goal setting for the next year, and that is why I'm holding that. So as you can see, it really was playing a lot on my mind when before I had my baby, and as you can see, there he is. I wanted to love my life as a mother but not lose myself in it. I wanted to really enjoy this major human experience that I was about to embark on, but again, not to be totally lost in it. And perhaps you might feel the same way too, and if you do, I really hope that this little mini course will help you. So then I had my baby, as you can see, as you saw in the previous picture, and yeah, so I learned a lot about what it was like. And in the 12 months after having my baby, I've put in, hang on, before you hear what I actually did, I want to say that this came as a bit of a shock to me when I reviewed my 12 months after having my baby and what I'd actually done. It was a shock, because at times it felt like I wasn't achieving anything, and I'm not telling you this to brag, and I'm not telling you this to be something that you can compare yourself with. I just want to give you a positive example and motivate you, and to encourage you and make you realize that you won't lose yourself. And the other thing is that there are ways in which I'm very lucky, and there are ways in which I did struggle a lot. Everybody's different, so please don't take this as what I think that you should be doing. But yeah, I was actually really shocked when I reviewed what I'd done in the 12 months. I survived life with a newborn. Huge. I cannot underestimate. That is a major thing. I did a parenting course at my local children's centre. I took up yoga, got the hang of breastfeeding, mastered elimination communication. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. You might want to Google it later. It's quite interesting. I co-wrote a 5,000-word new preface to a new edition of my book that I'd done previously. I did some meditations. I walked 50 miles of a long-distance hiking trail through London. I hosted a few board games nights around my house with friends, which I love to do. I travelled to a friend's wedding reception. I completed several online courses. I wrote a 40,000-word information product and sold it online. I maintained a baby journal and a scrapbook. I visited family, took my baby up a local hill, did a baby massage class, did a baby swimming class, put up some more art in my home to reflect my tastes and make me happy. I visited art galleries. I put a self-published zine on the Kindle. I did a baby sensory class, took my son on 2 holidays, climbed 2 new mountains because I love mountain climbing and walking. I sent out weekly emails to my mailing list and did a weekly blog post for at least 6 months. I did some painting because I love creativity, I love art and crafting and things like that. I wrote 4 guest blog posts. I took my baby on a train journey alone, which I was really proud of at the time. And I recruited 60 international contributors to the New Mama Welcome Pack, which I then created the following year, which was huge undertaking. And I made and sold some handmade books and had a stall at a craft fair. I mastered baby wearing. I made some videos for YouTube, and I learned baby sign language. So, to be honest, when I worked it all out, what I'd achieved, you can see that there's a lot of baby stuff in there, but there's a lot of things that are uniquely me. Hearing that, do you really think that I lost myself? No, I didn't. And that's why I think that you won't lose yourself either, because I just know that you won't, and this course I'm going to tell you a bit more about it. It sounds really like a lot when I say it all like that together, but when I had my baby, it was a huge struggle at times. There were lots of days where I did nothing but look after my baby, and because I couldn't do anything else. Breastfeeding that I was lucky enough to be able to do, took up hours and hours and hours of my day, sometimes 8 hours or more, and a lot of the time I was just sat there, and it was a big struggle. I remember one day I just felt I really wanted to wash the dishes, and I wanted to achieve one thing that wasn't related to my baby that day, and that thing was washing the dishes. And you just think when it gets to that point, goodness. And even despite all that, I managed to achieve all those things. So it is possible. And part of the reason why I created the New Mama Welcome Pack was because the first 3 months, the 4th trimester, was an intensely challenging time. And once I had been through that time, I really wanted to help other women through it and have something that would support them and motivate them and just encourage them on through this difficult time. So I created this virtual support package with 60 contributors from around the world, which is sent out to you over 3 months, of the first 3 months of when you have your baby, and it's like a regular encouraging message to spur you on and to say you're doing a brilliant job, and we know it's really hard, but you're doing great, and to provide you with lots of other information as well. So that is part of the reason why I created this. So what I hope that you'll get from this course is a positive but realistic view of how motherhood might affect you as a woman with dreams and passions that aren't all baby related. No doom and gloom allowed. And actionable tips you can take now to help yourself through the coming transition and prevent you feeling like you're losing yourself. And tips and insights from some of the amazing new Mama Welcome Pack contributors. And I want you to leave this course with feeling like motherhood, bring it on. I want you to look forward to it. I don't want you to be fearful of it. I don't want you to think that you're going to lose yourself. I'm going to be realistic. I'm going to tell you some challenging things that might be challenging to hear, I guess, but as you can see, I am generally quite an optimistic and positive person, and I do like to try and use mindset and motivation techniques to really help me through difficulties, and perhaps you might benefit from that too. I hope so. So here is what is coming up in the future modules. So this video is actually the longest one because I'm introducing it, but in future we're going to cover why motherhood is such a culture shock and what to do about it, staying your gorgeous unique self in motherhood, why a change is a force for good, how motherhood can help you fulfill your dreams, and finally, surviving the 4th trimester with your identity intact. So, disclaimer. So, with any discussions around motherhood, I'm sure you know that there's a lot of tensions out there around motherhood discussions, a lot of judgment and things like that. So, I just wanted to say that this is my experience. I'm offering it up to you as something that it may resonate with you and you may find it useful, or if you don't, or if you disagree with my approach, then that is totally fine. And that is the whole point of everything that I'm saying, is that you will find your own way, and you will find role models that speak to you and encourage you in your particular way. So it's my experience and the experiences of the contributors to the new Mama Welcome Pack. It is a lot to cover as well, so my second disclaimer is to please bear with me. There's quite a lot of things I'm going to be covering over the course of this course. So if you're thinking that something hasn't been covered yet, maybe it will be in a later module. And I'm going to be covering mindset and motivation. I'm not going to be covering baby care issues at all, really. So I'm not going to be talking about anything practical about how to breastfeed or how to give formula milk, or any baby related stuff. This is all about you. Another thing that I'm really passionate about is supporting you in motherhood, because everything that you are doing and everything that you'll be hearing and everything that everyone is talking to you about is about your baby, your beautiful baby. But what about you? And that's what this is about. And I'm not going to be talking about the wider political or social issues around motherhood. So this is purely about individual mindset and motivation. So, okay, that said, so the first thing we're going to be talking about today is called reframing motherhood. Loving your life as a mother, not losing yourself, starts here. And here's what I'm going to be covering today. Why the heaven or hell approach to motherhood debates sucks and what to replace it with. Why mindset and motivation are so important if you want to avoid losing yourself. And a 5-minute actionable and further resources to investigate. So each of the modules of this course is going to have little actionable things. They're going to be quite quick, or there's sometimes ones where you can go a little bit deeper. So hopefully you'll find that useful too. So is motherhood heaven or hell? Well, it's weird because we kind of have a split, as a society, we kind of have a split personality when it comes to motherhood. We are bombarded with images of motherhood as like a perfect experience, of, everything's so beautiful, it's so lovely, You have your baby and you can walk out like this, like you've just stepped out of the salon, and everything's so nice, and you should be so grateful, and everything's so wonderful. So there is a massive kind of pressure on us to not to admit that motherhood can be hard and can be challenging, and that maybe you don't actually like some aspects of it. So yeah, and then we have the kind of Mother's Day kind of approach, which is, oh, motherhood's so hard, but it's the best job in the world, and all of these kind of twee sort of quotes that, motherhood is really hard, but you get paid. It's the hardest job in the world, but you get paid in hugs and kisses, and it can be a little bit unrealistic and grating. But you might like that kind of thing. But there's a lot of pressure on us to feel like motherhood should totally fulfill every part of ourselves. And obviously, as you can see from what I've said so far, I don't believe that to be true. For some women, they are totally 100% of their attention is on being a mother, and that is totally cool. That if that's what makes them happy, then wonderful. But for others of us, we have other passions and interests in our lives as well, and it's not necessarily going to be the case that motherhood is going to totally be everything that fulfills us in our lives, and then that's, our life's goal is over because we've had a baby. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else in your life is going to happen. That's it. You've had a baby. What else? What more do you want? No, I don't believe that. So there's a lot of pressure on us to believe that motherhood is a kind of heaven, which is probably where we've had a bit of a backlash against that, and that this is the kind of hell side, where there is, recently in the last few years, you've had women coming out and saying, it's not all good. Sometimes I hate being a mum. Look at some of these headlines. I don't like being a mother. How women lose themselves in motherhood. Sometimes I hate being a mum. Motherhood and identity. I became a mum and lost myself. The new vogue of hating motherhood. Motherhood is hell. So I do think it's good and right that women should be able to express their true feelings about motherhood. But when I was pregnant, I found this kind of thing really depressing, and it was very doom and gloom. And if you just read those things, you may feel quite scared about being a mum, because it makes it sound awful. And it's not to say that there aren't challenges and that we should all pretend to enjoy it. Absolutely not. But you have to kind of think about what's going to encourage you at this point in your journey. And this is kind of why I've created this course, because this kind of approach of doom and gloom, you'll never get anything done, you'll lose your identity. I actually read some people saying that it felt like dying. It felt like their previous identity had died, and that was, it kind of freaked me out, because I like my previous identity and I didn't want it to die. So I want to propose an alternative way of looking at your motherhood journey, and it is this: an adventure. I want you to think about motherhood as an adventure, and there are various reasons why I think this is a really good kind of metaphor. And this may just feel more appropriate to me, because I really like walking through the countryside and hiking and all of that. So to me, it's quite a powerful way of looking at it. So hopefully it will resonate with you too. It's an adventure because you are on a journey. When you start off on your pilgrimage through the mountains, on your first day, you don't know everything. You don't know it all when you become a mother. You're at the start of your journey, and you're on a massive learning curve, and you're going to be experiencing lots of different things as you go forward. So it's like an adventure. It's challenging. Adventures are challenging. It's challenging physically, intellectually, and emotionally. And the sort of emotional aspect is probably what I'm going to be covering during this course, because you need to work on your own mindset, how you're going to get through the tough days. On an adventure, you have wonderful days, you see amazing things, you feel amazing things, but you also have tough days too, and that's inevitable, and you have to learn how to cope with those. The other thing is that your adventure will be similar to others, but it's also going to be unique to you. You may choose a different path round the mountain. You may choose a different way to other people, and that's fine. There's going to be similarities along the way, but you're going to be experiencing it in your own unique way, and your baby is a unique individual person as well. So, there's that tension there too. So it's neither heaven or hell. You need to anticipate good times, bad times, and difficult times. And I hope you can see that this way of looking at it, it's not burying your head in the sand and pretending that everything's great. It is accepting that there is going to be challenging times and thinking, okay, there's going to be challenging times. How am I going to cope with those? And what am I going to do to deal with those? And also just knowing that there's going to be challenging times, that is normal, is a huge motivation, I think, to knowing that you're okay. And if you find it hard sometimes, that's not because you are failing, that's not because you're finding it difficult. It's something that we all struggle with, and that is something that I find really, really helpful. So some of the contributors to the New Mama Welcome Pack have also echoed this approach, but they've put it in a slightly different way. So I'm going to be sharing some of those quotes now. So Morgan Day Cecil said that all of us who pilgrimage as mothers encounter a tension of joy and pain. So as I say, you've got good days, good times, bad times. It's just one of those things. Everyone feels that way, and yeah, as I said, it's no reflection on you that you feel you might find it hard sometimes, because sometimes it is hard. Your life will never be the same, and it's going to be a wild ride. Now, I want you to ignore the first part of that for now, because we're going to come back to that point in a later episode. But that it's going to be a wild ride. That is another way of thinking about it. It is totally will be a wild ride. You're on the train now. You're on the ride. What's going to happen? It's going to be exciting. That's from Crystal Trammell. And Lottie Lane says, some days you'll feel bored. Some days you'll feel lonely. You know what? That's normal, and that's okay. And Baby Wisdom said, it's a roller coaster ride, which it totally is. So I hope that gives you some alternative ways of thinking about your motherhood journey and what it might be like. So why motivation and why mindset? Well, like any adventure, it's hard sometimes and you will be frustrated at times, but know that this struggle is normal. Almost everyone struggles with it. And if we know that losing yourself is a common struggle on this adventure, we can prepare for it and take actions to counteract it. This is why mindset and motivation techniques are so important to help you love life as a mother without losing yourself. So don't forget to pack them in your backpack when you embark on your adventure. So we now have a 5-minute actionable. So today I want you to find a mantra, affirmation or quotes that will motivate you through this adventure. So it's a good idea to do this now before you have your baby, so you've just got it done and it's ready, because otherwise when you have it you're going to be distracted with lots of other things to do. So you can browse our Pinterest board for great quotes, or you can download our ebook with 101 tips and quotes to choose from. And some of them might not excite you, some of them might really speak to you, so that's fine. Just pick ones that speak to you. And this is really important. Print it out and pin it up. And I recommend you do it above the changing mat, where you're going to be changing your baby. You're going to be looking at that area several times a day, and put this thing right in front of your eye line, so that every time you go and see it, and it reminds you of this message that you want to tell yourself. So for me, I'm going to share mine. It was from an ebook that Pippa Best from Story of Mum did. She's one of the contributors to the New Mama Welcome Pack as well. And it really spoke to me. And it's a little picture of some petals on the pavement, and it says, sometimes the path of love is strewn with petals, but mostly bring your own petals. And that just really made me think, it just really spoke to me and made me think, if I'm having a bad day, I've got to, how am I going to bring my own petals? Okay, so, and yeah, I want you to think and use this course and think about how you can have a great mindset when it comes to motherhood. So yeah, and this is my son sprinkling petals, which is just a nice picture I wanted to put in. So next time we're going to be talking about the new normal, aka culture shock, why so many women feel like they're losing their identity, like they're lost, and what to do about it. So please see below this video for links and further resources. I hope you enjoyed this first one. This is going to be the longest one of all the videos, as I say, so the other one's going to be shorter. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. So bye for now.